happened in Libya and Gaddafi was being taken down, a number of African presidents said, wait, hold. We will fly into Libya and we can have some kind of diplomatic conversations. The feedback from external actors to them was, if you fly into Libyan airspace, we cannot guarantee your security. I want you to think about that for a minute, that heads of state of the African continent were told this on our continent. And ladies and gentlemen, what is Libya today?
Refused. We had to negotiate until they arrived. What happened once they arrived in Libya? Gaddafi was ready to quit power. He was ready to step down. He said that to heads of state. And this brings us back to the idea of ownership. We should own our security, social and political system. Our population needs to accept that system that we are proposing, and we need to position ourselves vis-a-vis the rest of the world. When you see armored vehicles rolling in the streets, what do? Do you intervene? The responsibility to protect, does it enter into force or not? I agree that intervention should be criticized, but sometimes you need to look at the facts. 14 years after the intervention in Libya, there is no government. It was possible to stop war in Libya.
African countries, people in Africa, need to use their own brain power to make a decision first, whether this country or that country is doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Don't be forced by any other country to make a choice which will not serve your fundamental interest.
So the question for Africa when it comes to multilateralism is to go beyond the demand for inclusion and look inward and talk about the demand for leverage that allows Africa to demand a seat at the table and to get it, not because
recently, Aladi, African Leadership and Dialogue Institute, held a conference in Kigali, Rwanda, to discuss about international security. And then major or key on their topic for discussion was the current state of Libya. And, you know, it's very sad how America invaded Libya, because if you ask me, it wasn't anything like war. Muammar al-Gaddafi had to be off, and so they just had to clear him off his seat. And what was happening before even America claimed that Gaddafi was a dictator and all that, and therefore had to be taken off. I mean, a colleague president, a sovereign state, independent of himself, making sure that the livelihood of his people are bettered, to the extent that Libya was the main country that almost every African youth wanted to go for greener pastures. Some even passing through the desert and all that. That should tell you that Libya was the place to be at the time. But now Libya is nowhere to be found. And then if going into hindsight, when this invasion was about to take place, some African leaders who even intervened that they had to go to Libya for diplomatic conversations so as to prevent the war. These international actors who, were already bent on ensuring that Gaddafi was off, told the African leaders that we cannot guarantee your security the moment you decide to fly. It means that they were bent and nothing was going to stop them. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Africa has been so kept in a particular hole that nobody is able to come out of it. I mean, it's very sad. Look at 1884 in the Berlin Conference, when Africa had to be divided like a piece of cake among these European countries. Very, 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 very bad and sad, if you ask me. And still, the nigger is still suffering. Borrowing the words of Louis Farrakhan. The nigger is still suffering. What are we talking about? It's so sad how Africans are being treated, the manner in which we find ourselves. It's very sad. And up to date, nobody. Now that Ibrahim Traore came out, look at what is happening. And sometimes I blame the African leaders. We have all the resources, we have all the men, we have what it takes. Why are we not able to come together as one unit and then have one military, one security, one everything, one currency, everything, so that we trade among ourselves? Where do we need anybody for? At what point do we need anybody? When we have all that it takes, at what point do we need anybody? Look at what Victor Gao is telling us. That we should use our brain power to take decisions for ourselves. We shouldn't be allowed for somebody to tell us what to do before we act. What kind of people are we? Having puppets as leaders. As far back in 1960s was when Kwame Nkrumah was pushing for this agenda. And when you push, they just clear you. When you push, they clear you. So it is something deliberate, and we should also have deliberate people with deliberate intention to be able to ensure that this thing works. We are here every day, being told what to do, and we have leaders amongst, these communities of countries in Africa, whereby we have this puppet always reporting to their masters as to what decision was taken in Africa, as to what our next moves are. How can we develop? And look at them. You go to Cameroon. Look at this man, Paul Biya. Look at South Sudan. Look at him. Go to Uganda. You see Museveni. Look at their ages. They are the owners of the country, as if the countries belong to them, serving the interests of their masters. When are we going to move forward as Africa? Africa is not meant to be slaves. That is not what God created us for. We are not divine slaves. Let us think and reason and move out of this mess. This is Authentic Plus TV. Kindly subscribe to the channel. Thank you.